let's start with that FTX investigation. What do we know about regulators and what they were doing with FTX?
Regulators were concerned about the FTX empire. Of course, regulators in the United States would be worried about the FTX empire. I would also say, though, remember, this is all happening. The Bloomberg scoop that we are discussing here is all happening on the back of a lot of dispute here, Ed, between the Bahamas and the United States, and bringing Sam Bankman-Fried here to questioning for regulators and lawmakers publicly as we wait to hear what's going to happen with the House Financial Services Committee and the Senate Banking Committee, who also want to bring in Sam Bankman-Fried for testimony as well as his deputies. I would say separately, as we think about what's happening with the regulators, tomorrow there's going to be a hearing in a Delaware bankruptcy court starting 11 a.m. And so you're hearing both the issues of the FTX empire unravel at the same time as we hear about authorities and their concerns, according to sources, between the links between FTX and Alameda.
Let's, of course, go to further links. Let's go to further contagion. Let's go, Sonali, to Genesis right now, because your scoop just before us coming on air, the fact that they may have to file for bankruptcy. The focus right now is this is not imminent and they're looking for other sources of funds.
Now, remember, something that's interesting about not just the breaking news that we have today, as well as what we've had, as we've been talking about U.S. authorities looking at FTX over months, this is just another indication that some of these issues go back many months, that they go back to Three Arrows, for example, and whoever had a relationship with them. Remember, Genesis is one of those companies that did have links to both Three Arrows and FTX at this point in time. They were a large creditor when you looked at their relationship to Three Arrows. And now let's talk about it in the vein of FTX for a second, because we know the trading desk had about $175 million tied up with FTX, but the lending business separately has had to pause withdrawals. So here come the questions. What were the relationships then between Genesis Lending and Genesis Trading, Genesis Lending, Trading, and the rest of the digital currency group empire? How much does that actually matter at the end of the day? And are some of these questions not just a matter of, customer money tied up in one exchange or one lender, but is there a broader systemic issue here in the way customer funds are being used among crypto companies more largely as it comes to lending and trading activities?